So this video is going to take you guys way back to something you learned in elementary school. Probably, I don't even know, fourth grade or so. But this is a topic that adults and kids alike kind of lose and aren't as good with because you never really have to do it. We're going to learn how you actually divide numbers by hand. And like I said, this is a skill that's it fades away because you're never asked to do it. If I really needed to know what this divided by this was, I'm going to bust out a calculator and get my decimal in like 2 seconds. But this skill that we're going to learn is important because we're going to use it for polynomials, and those you can't just type in the calculator. So, with this sort of problem here, there are multiple methods for doing division, but the way I'm going to use is kind of the old-fashioned traditional way. The number you divide by here is what goes on the outside of like this division box looking thing. So the number you divide by goes on the outside, and the thing on the top, your numerator, is going to go on the inside. And all we're going to do here is basically ask ourselves how many times 9 goes into each of these. So first we're going to look at how many times 9 goes into 3. Well, 9 does not go into 3, so we're going to look at how many, we take kind of the next number as well. We're going to look at how many times 9 goes into 31. 9 goes into 31 3 times. So I'm going to put a 3 up on top above the last digit I used. Then what I do is I do this number times 9 and put the result below right there. So 3 times 9 is 27. And I'm going to subtract my original from the thing I just got. When I do that, I get a 4 here. Once you get this number, you're always supposed to check and make sure it's smaller than what you divide by. If it is, we're good. If this would have been bigger than 9, we chose the wrong number up here. So anyway, we pass the check here, and we drag down our next number in the sequence here. So now I'm going to ask myself, how many times does 9 go into 42? Well, 9 goes into 42 4 times, so I'm going to put a 4 up top, above the last digit I used, and I'm going to multiply again. 4 times 9 is 36. You subtract, get 6, you compare, you bring down your next number. 9 is going to go into 65 7 times. 7 times 9 is 63. We get a 2 here. And if we wanted to get a decimal answer, what we would do, you kind of put a point and you can just keep adding zeros after this. So as you keep going here, you would just drag down a 0. You'd say how many times does 9 go into 20, and that would get you your decimal part of the answer afterwards. But what I'm going to do is kind of a neat trick. Whatever your remainder is, when you were in middle school, you might have written like R2 here for the remainder. Instead of doing that, I'm going to take my remainder, and I'm going to put it over the thing I divided by. So this is the same thing as 347 and 2/9. So 2/9 is kind of my leftovers here. And if you actually divide this problem in the calculator, you'll see it's 347.2222 repeating. We got the 347 right, and 2 divided by 9 is in fact 2 repeating. So it's kind of a nice way to not worry about the decimal and just put a fraction for your answer.